Hello, I'm going to be reading from the Colosseum to the Cul-de-sac, Patriarchal Power, Deception and Rivalry in Edith Wharton's Roman Fever and the Real Housewives TV show. In Edith Wharton's Roman Fever and Bravo's The Real Housewives, we can see examples of how female relationships are shaped by the pursuit of power and status within systems that limit women's access to direct control. With the backdrop of a quiet Roman terrace overlooking ancient ruins in Rome, Italy, Wharton's story introduces us to two middle-aged American widows. These two are engaged in subtle yet intense battle of wits filled with veiled insults and psychological games. Decades later, on a brightly lit television set, the Real Housewives franchise, which is ubiquitous throughout the United States, showcases a group of elaborate dressed women airing their dirty laundry and exposing each other's secrets for the enjoyment of a large audience. Although separated by time and format, both Roman Fever and The Real Housewives explore similar cultural themes. Wharton's 1934 story dissects the hidden tensions within the American elite, also known as the rich, or more technically, the 1%, where a woman's social standing is her greatest asset. The Real Housewives, which began in 2006, has grown into a global phenomenon offering insights into the complementary issues of gender, class, and self-promotion. Despite its often frivolous reputation, these two examples, despite their differences, are valuable social commodities. They demonstrate how systems, by limiting women's direct power and creative environments where status becomes extremely important within these environments, power struggles are waged through calculated strategies of deception, long-lasting grudges, and intense competition, shaping female identity and relationships in both Roman Fever and The Real Housewives. Social dynamics are defined by the fact that female power is not self-determined, but rather depends on external structures and influences. Within this framework, power struggles become competitive with status as the ultimate goal. Let me be clear, this is about American women trying to be something they are not. While the nature of this power has evolved, the underlying structure of the competition remains, indicating that the rules of power struggle have largely remained the same since the founding of America, which derives from Europe. In Wharton's story, a woman's social worth is largely determined by her husband. Alida Slade's identity is closely tied to her marital status, with her pride centered on being Mrs. Delphin Slade, the wife of a lawyer whose work offered her life of excitement. Her power comes from her husband's success. She looks down on Grace Ansley because Grace's husband was quiet and unassuming, which Alida sees him as insignificant. This illustrates how a woman's path to security and status was often through marriage, resulting in competition for desirable men and little added drama. The Real Housewives show shows a change in this dynamic. While many women initially gain access to wealth through their husbands, the show introduces an alternate path to power, building a personal brand. Bethany Frankel of The Real Housewives of New York is a great illustration of this new path. She utilizes her television platform to establish the Skinny Girl cocktail empire. Eventually, it will sell a portion of the brand for a substantial profit. She had her fair share of drama with her castmates and her ex-husband. This represents a level of economic independence that was not available to women like Alida Slade. This progress, however, comes with a cost. The modern housewife's power depends on her ability to turn her life into a brand, which needs constant performance for cameras, turning personal dramas into entertaining television. The housewife must also follow beauty standards, spending much time on appearance before filming and creating an ideal image on social media. This can create a different kind of pressure. While Alida's performance as the perfect wife was mostly limited to her social circle, the Housewives' performance is public, continuous, and subject to market demands, such as ratings and sponsorships. While the source of power has changed, the pressure to perform remains. Alida Slade's power was based on her husband's status. The homemaker's power is more dynamic. They use their initial status as a starting point, but their ongoing relevance depends on their ability to convert their lives into something marketable. This change reflects a broader shift towards a media-driven economy, where the self is the ultimate commodity. Wharton utilizes the setting of Rome as a crucial element in the story. Mrs. Slade views the Forum and the Colosseum as reminders of mortality and the failures of ambition. We see this in our own time. The history at their feet symbolizes the coming collapse of Alida's and Grace's carefully built lives and their long-hidden competition. The setting emphasizes the story's theme that societies continue to force women into competition for social position. The ruins symbolize a civilization built on conflict, mirroring the conflict relations between two women. The Real Housewives replaces Rome's historical significance with modern luxurious settings such as large mansions, upscale restaurants, and lavish parties. These spaces are aggressive displays of status and become the new arenas where social battles are fought. An episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills illustrates this point, hosted by Kamel Grammer. The evening devolved into a show of accusations and insults, illustrating how settings are often used as stages for psychological warfare. The performance of Welsh itself intensifies the conflict. Despite their apparent power and financial dependence, neither the women in Roman Fever nor the homemakers challenge the systems that govern their lives. They compete within its rules. Alida and Grace's conflict centers on securing a man, Delphin Slade. They never question the social structure that makes him the ultimate prize. Similarly, the homemakers still center their conflicts around traditional ideas. Their feuds revolve around who has better connections, who is a better mother, or whose husband is more successful. The underlying rules of the game remain unchanged. The competition is still between women for status within a system. The tools have evolved from subtle social actions to be televised conflicts of today. In both Roman Fever and The Real Housewives, deception is a strategy for social survival. Lies and betrayals from the relationships reveal a world where appearance of truth is more important than truth itself. While Wharton presents deception as a single event, the franchise treats it as a resource to be produced and consumed. In Roman Fever, the story is driven by an act of deception. Years before the story takes place, a young Alida Slade, out of jealousy, writes a letter from her fiancé Delphin to Gracie Anslin. The letter invites Gracie to a meeting at the Colosseum with the hope that Grace will get sick and be removed as a rival. This deception is Alida's secret. However, the story climax shows a counter-deception. Grace says she was not fooled, so she replies to the letter, and Delphin came to meet her. Ultimately, this led to the birth of her beloved daughter, Barbara. This revelation shatters Alida's belief in her ultimate victory in marrying Delphin, showing that their friendship has been built on lies. The Real Housewives TV show amplifies these deceptions, rendering betrayal a constant presence. The franchise is riddled with deceit, facilitated by technology and producer involvement. A common tactic is gossip. When information is shared in confidence, it will then be used as a weapon in group settings. Another way to betray each other is through technology. The hot mic moment has become a well-known phenomenon used to reveal genuine feelings. Similarly, the leaking of private texts serve as a key plot device in many episodes, which exposes the differences between a housewife's personal persona and her private feelings. In Roman Fever, Alita and Grace spend years pretending to be civilized friends. They follow the rules that govern society, maintain a calm demeanor that conceals their feelings of envy. Wharton exposes this hypocrisy by using their internal thoughts. The reader knows Alita's true thoughts, her condescension towards Grace's monotonous life, envy, her life envy, and her satisfaction in secret. Her life as Miss Delphine Slade is a performance designed to mask her insecurities. The Real Housewives make this performance central to its idea. The television genre itself is a deception, presenting a heavily produced story as a window into authentic life. The homemakers are constantly creating an idealized version of themselves for the public. This performance is important for their survival on the show. The show's story, however, relies on breaking this performance. The biggest drama often occurs when the real-life person exposed. For years, Erica Jane on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cultivated the persona of a star. When her husband was accused of stealing money, this persona was shattered, and she was forced to show her reality for the cameras. The purpose of deception changes from Wharton's story to the Bravo franchise. For Alita Slade, the lie is a device, a means to an end, securing Delphine and the status he represents. The letter is a weapon used within her social life to achieve a goal. In The Real Housewives, deception serves a purpose. It is both a device used by women against each other and the end product itself. A lie is not just social action, it is content. It is a storyline that can be sold to a global audience, generating money for the network. The revelation of the lie in Roman Fever provides the story with its conclusion. In contrast, the revelation of a lie on the show is rarely an end. It is a moment designed to ensure future viewership and fuel the next episode. This shows the logic of culture where human behaviors such as betrayal are used for entertainment. The weight of deception becomes secondary to the value of a narrative device. The audience relationship to deception is different. The reader of Roman Fever is positioned as an outsider piecing together the truth. The viewer of the Real Housewives has a more complex role to play. The media consumer is aware of TV and the hand of producers and the performative aspect of the cast. Viewers watch for those moments when the facade cracks. The viewership creates an incentive structure. The show's success depends on entirely of the audience's desire to watch these for deception. Our consumption of drama funds its creation, making the audience a participant in the system of deceit. Long-term grudges are structural components of the social order in Roman Fever. In the Real Housewives franchise, these anomalies serve as the organizing principle for the relationships. While Wharton betrays the grudge as a source of tragic ruin, the reality franchise transforms it into a profitable enterprise. The rivalry that animates Roman Fever is both born from a romantic triangle fueled by the emotions of envy. Alita Slade's anomaly toward Grace Ansley is rooted in fear that Grace posed a threat to her engagement with Delphine. This jealousy turns into a lifelong envy. Even after winning Delphine, Alita cannot help but envy Grace. Their competition is framed as a battle for love and status. In the Real Housewives TV show, the beginning of the rivalry is more complex. Through jealousy remains as a catalyst. The show's structure confines a group of women into the competitive setting, which creates conflict. Feuds erupt over challenges, business competition, or competition for screen time. The franchise serves as a laboratory designed to produce conflict, making rivalry an expected outcome. The function of the grudge within the story could not be more different. In Roman Fever, the grudge provides the story with its climax. The narrative builds tension the moment when secrets are revealed. The story concludes with Grace Ansley's confession. The line is the final blow in war, rewriting their history. exposing Alita's victory as a sham, leaving her life in ruins. Her grudge serves a literary purpose to deliver a conclusion that exposes the consequence of envy. In the Real Housewives, grudges do not lead to resolution. They lead to more seasons. A feud is not a destination, but its engine. Conflicts are left unresolved to create cliffhangers to ensure viewers return and provide material support for their specials. The show's profits are directly from the women tearing each other down. Long-running feud becomes an integral part of a housewife's identity, a source of drama that the format needs to strive. The conflict itself is the point, not its resolution. Homemakers often fail to demonstrate the love that coexists alongside disagreement. Instead, they continue to focus on the drama that drives the ratings. This reveals a difference in the function of the grudge. In Wharton's world, the grudge is a destructive force that leads to ruin of its bearer. The scene of Roman fever is the devastation of Alita Slade. Her life's beliefs are shattered. The grudge has destroyed her sense of self. Conversely, in The Real Housewives, the grudge is a force. A long-running feud can elevate a cast member's status, guarantee her a contrast for another season, and result in other opportunities. The anonymity, the animosity becomes a form of labor that produces money for both the housewife and the network. This connects to the idea that emotions themselves are labeled as a solid commodity and sold as a commodity. The Real Housewives showcase a cultural shift in which conflict, particularly among women, has incorporated into the entertainment industry. The pain that Wharton presented as personal tragedy is now used for entertainment. This has demonstrated that Wharton's Roman fever and the Real Housewives, despite their differences, are connected by their focus on female social dynamics within systems. Both texts describe or demonstrate how struggles for power, deception, and grudges become the methods of interaction when women's agency is limited. They reveal worlds where a woman's value is determined by her relationship to men, wealth, and social status, forcing her into a state of competition. This confirms that homemakers are a form of social pathology that Wharton examined. The conflicts are the same. The conflicts are the same. The competition for status, the use of secrets as weapons, and the power of envy. The evolution of Alita Slade's secret to a housewife feud is not a sign of decay, but a reflection of the changing media and capitalism. Sick of Wharton's story has not been cured. It has not been cured. It has gone viral. It has become a form of entertainment. The appeal of these stories prompts an examination of our moment and our role in the world where ruin is no longer to be contemplated but a spectacle to enjoy.